What is shallow water blackout? Shallow water blackout is fainting or passing out underwater due to the lack of oxygen to the brain. It usually happens to people who hold their breath underwater for a longer period of time. Without rescue, this person will very quickly drown. Shallow water blackout can affect anyone who is holding breath underwater, and it's most common among physically fit swimmers, spearfishermen, and freedivers. Shallow water blackout is the result of low oxygen to the brain. Since it's CO2 that is the main trigger for breathing reflex and not oxygen, it is very possible to run out of oxygen and black out without feeling the need to breathe, especially if you are hyperventilating first. Hyperventilation does not increase the oxygen to your blood, but it does decrease the CO2 in your body, pushing the breathing reflex further towards the end of the breath hold or even past where you black out. For swimmers and freedivers, it is more normal than for people who are not used to pushing the limits underwater. One of the reasons for this is because people who are trained at holding their breath have pushed the limits for where they feel the need to breathe and even sometimes past their ability. When blacking out, some will take in water in their lungs and they will drown, while others will just suffocate and die. Even if there are lifeguards present, it is a risk of dying if shallow water blackout happens to you when you are alone. This is because shallow water blackout can be very hard to spot. Most people will just sink to the bottom, and you may not be spotted when that happens. Frequently, shallow water blackout happens without warning or any sign that you will black out. You can even feel a euphoric or empowered state, making you continue to hold the breath hold and push past your limits. In regular drowning, you usually have 6 to 8 minutes before brain damage occurs. But with shallow water blackout, you have much shorter time. This is because your brain has already turned off because of the lack of oxygen. And the warmer the water is, the faster brain damage will happen. In cold water, you can last longer. Most shallow water blackouts happens either because of the lack of knowledge on how the body works during a breath hold, or because of ignoring safety measures even if you know about it. Some deaths because of shallow water blackout has occurred with some of the world's top swimmers and freedivers when they were training alone in water. One example is a world-class freediver who was found drowned in his own pool by himself. Most likely because he had been training to hold his breath alone. He may even have thought, I'll just do a light breath hold well inside the capability. But you may have a bad day, maybe because you're less hydrated, slept less, or for some other reason. It is possible to have the ability to hold your breath for 8 minutes one day, but the next day you black out at 5 minutes. Here are some ways to prevent shallow water blackout. 1. Never hyperventilate before your breath hold. 2. Never swim or hold your breath underwater alone. 3. Never hold your breath underwater without supervision from someone who are trained to deal with these kind of situations. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you liked it, consider subscribing for more content like this.